Hello everyone, I'm Yeti from View Gaming, and today we are back in Animallica, and this is gonna be the first video in a full release playthrough because as you can see right down here it says version 1.0. Yes, the game just left early access today, so I am gonna start over. I know, I kind of said in my last video that I was not gonna do it, but at the time I kind of expected the full release to maybe still be, a couple of months down the road, and instead it was less than 2 weeks. Actually, the day after I posted that video, they announced that it would be this weekend, so I've kind of been debating back and forth if I should start over. But it has always been my plan that once the game left early access, I was going to do like a full release playthrough. So that's what I'm going to do. And we would have to explore all the biomes we had already cleared anyway, due to all the new stuff they added in the last update a couple of weeks ago, right? So anyway, that is what we're going to do. Of course, the game is now feature complete, but they may still add something new in the future. Maybe we're going to get a new biome or something, and they're still going to do bug fixes and things like that. But anyway, this is exciting. I always love starting over in pretty much any game, but that's just something special about Animallica. It's also the only game where I remember the exact date that I started playing, which was the 5th of July 2017, which was also the first day of early access, and the first day the game was released on Steam, of course. Anyway, we have 3 different modes. For those of you who don't know the game, you can play normal mode, which is the one I always play. This is how it was originally intended to be played, so you have all the features in this one. You can also play creative mode if you just want to mess around with building and don't have to worry about collecting resources or dealing with combat or anything. You can jump into this. The areas that you can build in are different than the main game, though. That's just a little thing that people aren't aware of usually. So there are a lot of different biomes to explore in the main game, but in the creative mode you have 5 different maps. You can see I have Southeast Asia over here, and then you have these 4, and you can build in each of them, but you can't travel between them in the same save. So if you want to build in this map and this map, you have to make 2 individual saves for them. But other than that, once you pop into this, you can just open up the codex, and then you can, pull out anything you want to place of buildings and furniture and animals and stuff, and then you can just go crazy trying to build a big base or build enclosures or whatever you want to do. So that one I am gonna skip. Then there's also peaceful mode. So in this one, as it says, all enemies and enemy spawners are removed in escape mode. Some animals will still fight back when attacked. This is kind of important because peaceful mode to most people indicate that the game is fully peaceful, and it is not. You will have a lot less enemies to deal with because there won't be any mutated creatures or people or anything like that. But naturally aggressive animals like lions and bears and crocodiles and whatnot will still be aggressive. So if you walk up to them, they will attack you, and of course if you shoot at them, they will also attack you. There is a hotkey combination that you can press, but you have to do it every time you load up your save in peaceful mode. So which is, I think it's Control, Alt, G and I, so you have to press those 4 when you load it up, and then all the animals will ignore you. They will all be passive, at least until you shoot at them. So that means you can wander around in a biome. Whenever you have pressed that hotkey combination, you can wander around and collect resources and explore and everything without having to worry about a tiger suddenly jumping you or something like that, at least until you shoot at them, right? So at least that way you can have it fairly peacefully and relaxed in this mode. As it says, some features from the normal mode are missing. Mainly, of course, all the enemies and stuff are missing, but mainly from what I remember, it is just a matter of certain creatures that you can't get from the animal trader, because the animal trader has some tamed versions of the mutated creatures in the game, and some of them you will not be able to buy because the resources that you get or that you need to buy them, you get from killing mutants, which is not actually in that mode. But that's I think is the only thing that you miss out on with this. And I know a lot of people actually play this. There's a lot of players who actually really enjoyed this mode here. In my case, though, I am gonna go with a normal mode, which I always do, because to me that's just the most fun. But it is awesome that they have added several different modes so that there's something that appeals to a bunch of different players, right? So, July 1st, 2030, it has been 5 years since I was stranded out here and almost 10 years since Earth became Dr. Moore's playground of horrors. These 5 years I've been searching for a cure to Dr. Moore's plague, and I think I've finally made a major breakthrough. The key ingredient for the cure is in the new glowing mushrooms that have miraculously started to spawn all around the world. As excited as I am with this good news, there's also bad news. I haven't heard from my colleagues in the main base in weeks, and I'm running really low on supplies, so it's time to grab everything I can and head to our land base. With a little luck, maybe I can cure a couple of animals and gather some healthy plants on my way. Find out what happened to my colleagues, get supplies, send a few dozens of abominations back to hell, and be back for dinner. Okay, so we can choose to skip the tutorial, but I think I'm just gonna leave it on. It doesn't really matter. In this game, the tutorials are a matter of little pop-ups that pop up that just give you a little bit of information along the way in the beginning of the game, so you don't have a bunch of special requests or anything that you have to do. So it doesn't really matter if you have it on or not. But it can be helpful if you need a little reminder of, different shortcut keys or how things work, or just in case for new players, of course, it is helpful information. Before we get started, the codex that I was talking about in creative mode, you actually just press tab to open your inventory, and then it is right over here, so you can find all the different items in the game and all the animals and stuff, and this is where you can then pull them out if you want to build in the creative mode. I think you can also press yes, F3 works as well for that. So before we get started, I actually wanted to quickly go over something in the settings. You can turn head bobbing off. I always do that myself because I find it really annoying to have that in any game. You can turn the character voice off as well. I've actually had this turned off for several years now, so I have no idea how much Scarlet, the main character who we are playing, I have no idea how much she says now, but usually she'll comment on things like whenever you pick up something cool or something like that, she'll make a comment, and I find it kind of annoying, but I'm also very noise sensitive, so I prefer not having too much stuff like that. So you can turn that off. So now she'll just make a sound sometimes. For instance, if you're jumping or something, she'll make a little sound, but it definitely limits how much she's gonna comment on if you turn this off. Then there's the custom crosshair. If you don't like the crosshair in the game, mine is already set. Apparently it remembers from my previous games. But by default, I think it's white or something, but you can go in here and then you can actually change it, because the original one, like the default one, which I think is white, if I remember correctly, is really hard to see, at least to me. So if you want to make it more visible, you can go in here, you can change the color, you can change the look of it. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of different ones. You can also change the size if you need it to be bigger or you want it to be smaller and more discreet. So that's that. And then you can also choose to, you actually have to do this. I think it's still off by default. It does seem to remember your settings from previous games, or if you have played the game before, right? Because I have played this game a lot, so it remembers all my settings, but I do seem to recall the autosave being off by default, so you have to go in here and turn it on. Otherwise, there are also manual saves and quick saves in the game, and then you can choose how often it saves, but you can still do the manual saves and quick saves, which I very much recommend doing, just in case you feel the need to roll back if you make a mistake or something. Then it's really good to have, but then you can choose to have the autosave running in the background as well, but it saves completely separately. It's not gonna impact each other, so it's just an extra precaution to have this running. Then there's auto capture, which is an amazing feature they added, I think last year or something. I think it came with the beta, which means that whenever you tranquilize an animal, it will get picked up automatically and end up in your inventory. This prevents you from losing animals, for instance, to the tall grass. Some of the biomes has a lot of tall grass, like Damba is kind of covered in tall grass. So if you shoot an animal there, it is really, really hard to find it again and pick it up. But if you prefer to have that challenge and actually go and pick up the animals, you can just have this off. I think it's off by default as well, if I remember correctly. But anyway, if you're going to start playing, just check these things in the settings. And you can always turn them off later, of course. If you realize that the animals are not being picked up, then, you know, now you know there's actually an auto capture feature. So they get picked up for you. There we go. I just wanted to mention those things just in case we have some new players. So we got a whole bunch of stuff here. Nice, look at this. There we go. Let's just, all right, I could just click on this. I don't know why I never do that. I guess it's just the hoarder in me that finds it satisfying to click on every item. But let's put some food down here on our hotbar. Yes, let's put it there. We're gonna put some water down here. Antibiotics, there we go. What else did I get? Some materials for crafting. Yep, nice. Okay, so let's keep going here. See what else we got a new message. Let's just pick up a couple of these things. We also have something to read right there. That book seems new. I don't remember noticing that in the past. There's just so many things that have changed over time, so it's always hard for me to remember what has already been there and or what used to be there and what has not been there in the past, right? So let's see, can I get access to this? Because we should be able to scrap it. Nope. Okay, I think that was it. Let's get all this. You can just press shift and left click to do this, or you can just drag them over here. It gives you +5 defense. Each of these, you cannot change your gloves. You can't remove them. You won't get any new gloves. I don't know if they still plan to change that at some point, but they do give you 10 defense, and you can actually upgrade your armor twice via the tannery. Once you get that built, and you can end up with, I think it's +20 for the max upgraded ones. So let's see, we are gonna go in here to tasks. I think it's J, right? Yes. Somehow I never really use those hotkeys, but anyway, here, this is our first task. Oh, I can't even see the other ones. Don't we usually? I feel like usually you can see all of them from the beginning, but maybe not. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, getting started. By PhD Michelle Curie. Hey Scarlett, as you probably know, the situation is getting very serious. After last year's disaster when we lost our original land base, now we've also lost contact with our new base on Nova and heard nothing from your 2 colleagues that were supposed to bring back news from there. The new Supreme Leader Bale declared that any man or creature living outside the 5 fortress cities is a danger to the future of mankind and will be shot on sight. Since our organization always opposed him and his extreme political views, we are now under strict surveillance and we can't leave the fortress. So you'll have to grab some medical supplies and some weapons and wait for new instructions. Captain Jackson is trying to find out if it's safe to land anywhere near Nova. So, you are supposed to go around this facility that we are in right now and pick up these things, and I do very much recommend that you loot everything that you can find in this facility before you leave, because you're gonna need it. So that's a really good idea. We also get some points for this, or a special currency that we're going to be able to buy some stuff with later. But there we go. That was our first task. You can decide yourself if you want to follow all of these. Eventually we're going to have a whole bunch of these, but you are pretty free to do things exactly how you want and in the order you want. You can technically ignore these completely if you want, but then of course you won't get this currency, but it's not like game breaking or anything. You can still play the game and you can just do things in the order that you want. You can go to the biomes in the order that you want. You are very, very free to do everything exactly how you want in the game. The main reason they added these tasks were to kind of guide new players, because there was a lot of requests for tutorials in the past or some kind of guide to what are you supposed to do in this game. So that's mainly why they are here. Also, when it comes to story-wise, you'll find little lore pieces like this, and then there's the tasks, and that's pretty much the story in the game. It's very much based on exploration, hoarding a lot of resources, doing some crafting and building and collecting animals and things like that. But you have a lot of freedom to just play the game you want and focus on the features that you have the most fun with. Hey Scarlett, I hope this letter reaches you. I never thought I'd be writing letters back and forth. God, I miss texting. But I really can't complain because life is pretty cushy in the fortress cities, especially for us girls. I never have to do anything difficult or do heavy lifting. To tell you the truth, it's a bit suffocating. I can see why you left. But so many women died and nobody outside the fortress cities has a wife anymore. Please watch out, it's so dangerous out there. Meadows' facility was overrun, but thankfully everyone made it out alive. They had to leave behind a bunch of equipment for the raiders to trash, but saved all the computers at least. There's still lots of public support for Animallica, and everyone thinks you guys are doing something really wonderful. They hope to leave the fortress city someday and see the earth like it used to be with all the animals in place, and they're hoping you guys can do it. Not to put any pressure on you or anything. I looked for all the journals and newspapers from your list and I sent everything I could find. I also included some cookies I baked for you. Take care, hon. It's a dangerous world out there. Love, Jenny. And of course, it's completely up to you if you want to read any of these. There's not a huge amount of them, but it gives you a little bit of an idea of, what's the story behind this place. So, there we go. We got a little pop-up here that just tells you the different hotkeys. There we go. Let's get going. So let's see what we are gonna find. Some empty bottles, very, very good to have. We can fill them up with some water later. So let's see what we have over here. Duct tape, yes, always a good thing to have, right? Just ask MacGyver. So we got some toilet paper. Gold coins, lovely. And yes, coins get automatically added down here, so they're not gonna take up room in your inventory. So let's just go over here. We got some more purified water, more duct tape, lovely. Okay, so we got some upgrading kits, some pistol bullets. So these upgrading kits, where are they? They are in here. This is for a shotgun. There are also some for a sniper rifle. So you're gonna need, I think it's 10 to do the first upgrade. You can upgrade both one of the shotguns and the sniper rifle twice. I think you need 10 the first time and 20 the second time or something. So definitely hang on to these when you find them, because you'll need a lot of exploring to find these, and you need to have the advanced workstation or find the one that is present in the game and use that one when you actually want to do some upgrading with these. And just in case anyone is sitting out there wondering, no, there is no way of playing as a male character. There is only Scarlett, but you won't really see her that much. Of course, you see her when you are in here, but it's not, you're playing first person. If you choose to use the horses, there are rideable horses in the game, then usually you will see her in third person, but aside from that you won't really see it. But if that matters to you, then I can just say there's not gonna be a male character in the game, because the entire story is built around this female character. So yeah, there we go. I know people have been asking about it, but it is one thing that is not gonna change. So now you know. Okay, I think that's all we're gonna find in here. Yeah, just trying to make sure I don't miss anything. The problem is I've played this game so many times, I've been through this facility so many times, that it's so easy for me to just overlook something, especially if they added something new. So the reason I also said make sure to grab everything here is that once we leave this place, we won't be able to come back. For all the other areas in the game, you can come back later. And return as many times as you want. But in this case here, once you leave, you won't come back. So make sure you grab everything you can find here. Oh, here's another thing. Tool set. In general in the game, you can sell things to traders to make some money. You can also find a coin press and use any gold and copper and silver and stuff to make coins with the coin press, right? So there's multiple ways of making money, but do be careful with what you sell. Some things you will need multiple of, including these for crafting. It is a material and not a tool. It says it's a tool set, but you'll actually need, I think it's like 5 of some of these. There's set 1, 2, and 3. I can't remember the exact number, but you'll need there's at least one of them you need at least 5 of, and you'll need multiple of each of them. So in general in the game, hang on to stuff. If you're not absolutely 100% sure what you need this item for or how much of it you need, do not sell it, because some items in the game are pretty rare or even unique, and it would be really bummer to sell them. Especially gems. If you come across any gems in the game, like jade or turquoise or whatever they're called, well, turquoise as well, that's not really a gem, but you know, any kind of gem or diamonds and stuff, do not sell them, even though it says that they sell for a good price, because you will actually need them at the animal trader, for instance, to trade for some things, and they're very, very rare. So if you're interested in any of the items that you can trade for, then it would be bummer to have sold them. So yeah, I never really feel like there's that much need to be in a hurry to sell things, but I know people often do. They want to buy ammo and stuff from the traders, and then they sell off stuff, and then they end up kicking themselves because they sold some stuff that is pretty rare or even unique. Let's grab this. So that's why I'm just mentioning it. Make sure to be sure that you know what you need things for. And if you aren't certain, there is actually a Wikipedia for the game. I'll have a link for it in the description below, as well as a link for the Steam store page and the Discord. We do have a Discord for the game, which is a great place to go if you have any questions. And right off the bat, it might be the best place to go currently to ask questions. You can also ask in the Steam forums. There's lots of helpful players. But the Wikipedia might not be fully updated currently. The Wiki team is trying to get it caught up with all the updates, but some of the information might be outdated. So the best places to ask if you have any questions is in the Discord or in the Steam forums. So anyway, dear Scarlett, thank you for your kind letter. It was nice to get some good news for a change. Things were quite tough for a bit, and the doctors didn't know if the immune-suppressing drugs would work. But I'm happy to say I'm still here, and so thankful to everyone who was so supportive. Especially Greg, who saw the symptoms before I even figured it out, and he's the one who got me to medical help soon enough. Sadly, I probably won't be leaving the city again, and I won't be going back to the lab. It breaks my heart, but the doctors say I'll probably die if I'm exposed to any more virus, and I need to stay in one of the fortress cities. With travel so dangerous, I'll probably be here for a while. I read your letter over and over again several times. If you're right about what you found, that's astounding. I knew if anyone could crack the code, it would be you. Thank you for sharing the information with me. It's vitally important that you nail this down and get the word out to everyone once you have any sort of working formula. Reverse engineering the Morse virus was brilliant. Somehow you have a knack for outthinking crazy Dr. Morse. My advice to you is let other labs improve the formula, since that would be a waste of your talents. Instead, I encourage you to go ahead with Project Blue, since there's obviously something there. Good luck with the research, and please don't take any crazy chances. You know what I mean. Fondest regards, Sanya. Okay. Okay. Well, I think we got everything here, right? And of course, you can go outside. I don't think they have. Well, I don't know. Is there anything that we can pick up? There are some coconuts. Ooh, this is new. They actually added coconuts in this last update, so it might not be a bad thing to just have a quick little look out here. Oh, look at that. Nice, because even last time I went through here, there wasn't anything like that to pick up, so that's kind of cool. Okay, well, let's just have a quick little look, because we're definitely gonna need some of these. I do see some coconuts up there, but No, nothing down here. Okay, well, we're just gonna have a little quick peek around. But I do like that. It kind of gives you a reason to actually go out here and just have a little look around. There's some more right there. Cool. Though I'm sure we can find them in other areas as well, of course, because a lot of people will miss these. But it is never a bad thing to be a little bit ahead and have found a bit of extra stuff, right? Okay, so I think that might be everything. Oh, no, there's more over there. There's nothing here. Nope, okay. Let's grab these. Lovely. Okay, cool. I like it. Oh, there's like a little... I've never actually noticed that you could... Huh. But there's that. Ah, okay, that leads up there. Cool. Okay. Nice. I think... Yeah, I think that's it. Can we get back in again? Let's have a little look up here. And yeah, they have removed there used to be an oil platform out here, but I do believe they have removed it in a previous update. Okay, so can I... where can I get back in again? Probably where we came from, right? So we're gonna jump up here, and there we go. Nice. There might be more stuff that I've just completely missed, but at least we got 16 coconuts, which brings me to another thing. I know I'm kind of mentioning a lot of stuff right here, but I just know it's some stuff that usually trips people up, or we get these questions, and a lot of people mainly check out the first video in a series. So when it comes to raw foods in this game, I do recommend to try not to eat any of them if you can, unless you really have to. Then keep anything. Stick with eating the canned food as well as things like protein bars. So these things are safe. You can also drink these, of course. I think the yogurt and the peanut butter might be okay as well. These are added fairly recently. I don't remember us needing them for anything else. You can probably eat those as well. But anything like this that is a raw food, or something like a bagel, a pastry, things like that, even cheese, hang on to it because you are gonna need it. And then it's kind of bummer if you've eaten all of it and then you have to go out and try and find more, because there are certain settlements in the game that will let you produce some stuff yourself. There's I think almost 30, if there's not more than 30 now, settlements that you can place at your base, and then they will produce things like apples and wheat and carrots. And no, I don't. Yeah, I think there's one for carrots now as well. We used to only be able to grow them in little gardening beds, but now I think we do have a settlement for them. But for most of them you will need the same item or the same resource that is that they will produce. So if you want to have apples produced, then you're gonna need apples, right? So hang on to it if you can, and just stick with eating things like this, all the canned food and protein bars and stuff like that, and you'll appreciate that you did that when you get a little further into the game. So at least that's what I do. You can do things exactly how you want. I would just recommend it anyway. So let's see. Oh, we got some credits. Currently used in all 5 fortress cities, the last bastions of civilization left in the world. Okay, so these of course are the ones we also get from completing all the tasks. So let's see, we are gonna grab some of these. We're gonna need them to make things like cure potions and taming potions and stuff like that. So there we go. Let's grab all of these. Medical supplies, lovely. Anything else here? Got some old books that we can't pick up. No. I think that's everything in here. Let's check over here. Okay, we've got some paints. Got a vise. You're definitely gonna want to keep that. You're gonna need, I think, at least 2 of them for crafting. Some things you can buy, but why not hang on to them and use them instead of having to spend money on it. Like, you can buy these, but they are 100 each. So it's kind of nice to just keep them when you are... See, you can sell them for 30, so why spend another 70 if you have just sold them, right? Then you have to pay 100 to actually get a new one. And the same for this. It doesn't actually sell for anything, which is probably to make sure that people don't end up selling it. But you're gonna need a couple of these as well in the game. And then we did just get a flamethrower. Yes, which is needed to remove contamination sites in the rest of the game. But we're gonna get more into that. We got some ammo for it. Just gonna put that down there. These are some syringes that will give you some health and stamina, or they will fully restore some. Somehow I never used those. I don't even know why. I could just use them, but I don't know. I never really end up using them. I think it's because they weren't there in the beginning of the game, so now I've just gotten used to using other things. Hello, mate. Okay, let's see what we have over here. We have another first aid kit. June 1st, 2030, memo from Mark to Scarlett regarding upcoming trip to land base. I'll be taking Will and Ronnie with me when I head down to land base for a few days next week. That means you'll be in charge while I'm gone. I know you'd go if you could leave the experiments, but someone has to stay, and at least if anything breaks, you can fix it. Also, those results you presented this morning were incredibly promising, and you have to stay to complete the tests. I really think you've nailed it, and I wouldn't be surprised if you got a positive result by the time we get back. You are so close, I'm sure of it. Make sure Will knows what you need. He's making a list of needed supplies. We probably won't be able to get anything, but you never know. Okay. Let's see. So over here, this is actually also really important. It's a death beacon. Nope, can't grab that one. So this will drop upon death, showing you a death location on the radar, helping you to retrieve all the lost gold coins. Alright, they changed that recently. Aha. See, it's hard for me to keep track of all of this, but now when you die, you lose the gold that you have on you. Or is it 50% that you lose? Well, you lose some gold at least. It used to be that you would drop everything that you had on you except what you had on your hotbar. But I think it was last year or with the beta or something, they changed it so you drop gold. Which isn't really a problem, because in the beginning, which is when you'll be dying the most likely, you won't have that much gold on you. So even if you don't make it back to pick everything up, then you won't lose much compared to later in the game when you'll have much more gold on you. And all the items that you have in your inventory will likely be a lot more important to you than, 20 gold if I died right now, right? But the beacon will show up on the little radar that you see in the top left corner. It will show up here when you are in that biome where you died. I do want to mention, do not leave the biome if you die somewhere. Don't teleport away from that biome to try and go back to your base, because anything that is dropped on the ground that includes anything, like in this case now the gold coins, when you die will disappear when you leave the area. The same if you trank an animal or kill an enemy, or if you just drop some items on the ground because either you didn't have any more room in your inventory, or you drop some because you are moving things around in your inventory. You have to make sure to pick it all up before you leave the biome, because the biome kind of resets and new resources and stuff respawn by the time you come back. So that's kind of an important detail. Also, in case you are, for instance, tranking animals, you can have 30 animals in here. When it comes to materials, this is actually twice as big, so you have twice as many slots for materials, but all the other ones have 30 slots that you can work with. But if you have tranked 30 animals and you end up tranquilizing one more and you're like, oh, I wanted to bring that back as well, you can put it down here. So even if your hotbar is filled with other stuff, then it's highly likely that you'll have something down here. Maybe you still have room in consumables, and then you can move something away, and then whatever was filling up another category you can put down here. It's just a little hint, a little tip to actually check that when you're like, oh man, I can't pick this item up because I don't have any more room in that category. Then do remember you do have 10 slots down here that you can make use of until you make it home and empty out everything, right? April 16th, 2024, memo from Mac to Scarlett regarding crazy stunts on the oil rig. It's come to my attention you've been climbing to the top of the oil rig, which is absolutely prohibited. Since you're new, you probably overlooked the do not enter signs. I also heard about your 40-meter free dives, and while I can't stop you from swimming, I'm telling you to bring a dive buddy if you're going to be doing stunts like that. As you know, Sandia warned me about you, and you swore to me you'd not be pulling crazy stunts, so cut it out. Yeah, I think it was right out there. Actually, there used to be an oil rig, if I remember, it was out there. And people actually used to swim out there, so I think that's why they added this at some point, because a lot of players would try and get out there and get on top of it to see if there was any goodies. 2nd of April 2025, Dear Patrick, thanks for sending the journals. It's hard to get much out here. Not that I'm complaining, the Animallica mycology lab is amazing. I can't imagine where they even found the equipment, but it's all here. Hoods, a level 4 containment, 4 facts, one of them is 6 color though, it's supposed to do 8. 4 sequences, 3 PCR, HPLC, cold rooms, the list goes on and on. Lots of power, very stable. The weather's pretty nice too, but I can't say more than that. Did you know we stole Scarlett from Sandia? Not really, but she moved out here a couple of weeks ago. We have a better lab for what she needs, and if anyone can make use of the equipment, Scarlett can. Hell, she can even fix them. Ronnie says hi. I'm planning to attend the Journal of Epidemiology meeting in September. I'll have a poster presentation on C. naturi. Maybe I'll see you there. I hope you're doing well and staying sane. Haha. Thanks again for the journals. I'll try to keep you up to date on what we are finding here. Max says it's okay to send you the raw data for safekeeping. Best regards, Will. Okay. Well, let's just check if there's anything out here. Ooh, there is some more bullets. Nice. Though I am actually pondering if I'm gonna go full on bow and melee weapons this time around. Just for the point of it, I usually use the bow the most in the game, or mainly I used to only use it, but I've been using some of the other weapons a little bit in my previous series, but I kind of want to see if I can do it all just using bows and melee weapons. So we got a little tutorial here as well. Let's just do this. We're gonna grab this. We got a recurve bow, last item we needed on the list. Gonna switch that out for a crossbow really soon, because a crossbow is a better. But let's have a little look. There we go, because this one does 25 damage and has a 1 speed. If you get a crossbow, the base damage is 30, and the crossbow can actually be upgraded, so you can have 40 as the damage when it's fully upgraded. So we have 12 arrows. That's not a lot to work with. We have 15 tranquilizer arrows. And if you want to switch arrows, you hold down Q. Once you have your weapon activated, you can use the scroll wheel to move around, or you can just press the hotkey on your keyboard. Then you hold down Q, and then you can choose which arrow you want. So standard arrows or tranquilizer. The first thing I actually want to use once we leave here will be the tranquilizer. So I think we're going to set it to that. But there's also other arrows we'll be able to make later. There we go. So let's just leave it there, and I hope it's going to remember it, that there's no bugs or anything with it. There we go. Because that has been a recurring issue in this game. But they have had it fixed, but I just they fixed it a while ago. So hopefully it is still working the way it should with those arrows. Okay, let's see. Travel to Nova, William Jackson, head of security. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find out anything of use, but since your food supplies are gone and we have absolutely none to resupply your base, I recommend you board the shuttle and travel to Nova. Please report back as soon as you find anything. Okay, so now that's what we need to do, and of course we're gonna need some more here. We've completed 1 out of 2. Cool. So, of course, there's also a help section in here that you can go through if you have some you need some specific info, or you want to check out all the information that you also get in the tutorial or from these tutorial pop-ups, right? Then of course we have our inventory. There's a crafting section here where we can craft all kinds of stuff. This is only a very, it doesn't look like there's a lot, but this is only a very, very, very small part of what you can actually craft in a game. You're gonna need a basic workbench for things, or workshop for things to kind of open up, because there's a lot of crafting stations in the game. We are also going to come across one of these, but most people would like to have one of these at their, at their own base. But there are, I think, 2 or something of these that you can find in the game that you can also use. But it's nice to have one yourself, and that's what you kind of need to have to see everything that is in the game, right? But anyway, there we go. I think that's what we're gonna do. So let's just make sure to eat a little bit and drink a little bit. There we go. Nice. Let's go in here. Also, if you drink any of the sodas or beers and stuff, do hang on to the empty cans, because you're gonna need them to make aluminum. So just another little detail. What do I have the most cans of? This one. Let's move this down here. Yeah, because then we have 5. Lovely. Okay, so we are gonna head back, and yes, I have this ready. And make sure you don't forget anything. Once you leave this facility, you'll not be able to return, indeed. Okay, hopefully I got everything from here, so we are gonna leave. There we go, look at that, wow. Oh yes. Okay, so we have another one of these, but the first thing I want to do, we have another pop-up here, is to bring this up. I have my arrows. As you can see, I have a blue feather on it, which means that would be... There we go, we got our first bunny, because I know there's usually a couple of bunnies and a fox here, and the fox is gonna kill the bunnies if it gets a chance, and it's not always that you can, manage to save the bunnies. Oh, go away. Let's see if I can get you. There we go. Okay, I think there's only 2, unless Slice has made any changes, but that's the first thing I do when I arrive here, is to try and save those 2 bunnies. Can I spot the fox? Because I don't really want to chase it down there. There's going to be an enemy down here, because this is kind of a tutorial path that will still teach us a couple of things. Yes, it's over there, this fox, because it will move around the area, and then it will come down here and it will chase the bunnies and kill it, because that's what they actually do. The aggressive animals will, there we go, got it, will actually kill any herbivores and stuff. So all the carnivores will actually attack them if they get the chance. The same for the enemies in the game. If they get within aggro range, they will kill the animals. So just to avoid that, I always try and do this. I do believe there are more bunnies on this path, but usually there's 2 here and then that fox. So there we go, we got them. Nice. So if you have that auto capture on in the settings that I showed in the beginning, then the animals will just pop in here. So you can see I got a male gray European hare, I got a female dark brown European hare, and I got a male European red fox. Nice, look at that. And I haven't actually done any saving. Crazy. So let's just do, if you press F5, you can see at the bottom right, it said game saved. So that's the quick save, which means it is the very first slot in here. So that would be over here. This one will just get, overridden every time you use F5, and then you can just press F9 and it will load whichever was the last quick save you did. You can also do some manual saves in here, which I usually do. I usually use pretty much all of them. Sometimes I have some others, other ones I use for other game saves, but still you can use these, or you can just make use of the autosave. I wouldn't do that myself because it's a good idea to use the manual saves as well as the quick save to kind of make sure you always have a save that you can load in case something goes wrong. For instance, if you kill an animal by accident. If you forget to change your arrows and you kill an animal, because the animals in this game are finite, the number of animals is finite. So some animals like the foxes and bunnies, like these ones, there's quite a lot of them. So it's not a big disaster if you kill them, except if you really want to collect as many as you can. But there are some animals in the game that are legendary animals which are unique, and if you end up killing them, they're gone. Like there won't be a new one spawning. All the animals, they're only the ones that are. You can breed animals, but you can't get the legendary animals, for instance, from breeding, right? So that's why it's a good idea to have a few saves so that you can always load a recent one in case you mess up in some way, right? But anyway, we kind of made it here. Let's just quickly check out the newest one we got here. So we completed these two. Now we have a Find Chrome. Hey, when you reach Nova, can you please look for my horse Chrome? It's been 3 weeks since I've been stuck here at NFC headquarters and 2 days since we lost contact with the base, so I'm really worried. I had a small discussion with the boss and he agreed to let us periodically transfer you some credits. I know they're not much use outside the fortress cities where people trade for food and gold, but I hope you can still find a good use for them. So that would be these ones I think that she's referring to. So we have to find Chrome, and we're gonna find Chrome down here somewhere. But we are gonna end this video right here because we don't really have a lot more time now. It's gonna be a very long video otherwise. But this is kind of where the game really begins. We are in the first major biome. But there are, I think, there's 21 biomes, big ones like this that you can explore. Plus there are 3 extra biomes, if I remember correct. Yeah, then there's 3 more biomes that you can actually choose to build in. You can also build in these biomes, but there's not that much flat land, and you also have to deal with enemies, even though once you kill them all, they will be gone too. But if you want a lot of flat land to build a lot, then it's a good idea to use one of these 3 biomes that are kind of dedicated to it. But we'll get to that when we make it down further down here. But that will be in the next video, guys. So anyway, I know that was a lot of information, but I hope at least it's helpful to someone. Usually I'm told that it's helpful when people check out these videos, so I hope it was this time as well. But we're finally gonna have a little bit of action next time, because that's when we're gonna encounter the first enemies. So that was it for today, guys. Let me know what you think about it so far if you're new to it, and let me know if you're gonna be playing yourself, if you're a returning player or if you're a new player. It's always exciting to hear if other people have found an interest in this game as well. So anyway, thank you for watching, do take care and happy gaming!